Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome. I'm going to be doing my picks for NFL Week 6. This week, we have some really good games and storylines. Last week was a hell of a week and some surprising results, I would say, including that Chiefs loss. I wasn't expecting that. But let me go ahead and pull up the games and see what we have for this week, okay? One second. So I think tonight's game is the Giants versus the Eagles. The first game is the Giants versus the Eagles. I believe that game started already, but it doesn't really matter. I think the Eagles are going to win this one. Jackson Dart looked good in his first showing, and then last week I believe they got kind of destroyed by the New Orleans Saints, which was surprising to me. I thought they were going to start rolling with Jackson Dart, um, but he's still a rookie, so he gets a pass. And they also lost Malik Neighbors, so it's understandable. They have Scatterboo, which is a very cool player to see. He's very hype, and I don't know, he's just a cool player to watch because of his energy and everything he brings. But for this one, in the media, there's been a lot of talk about the Eagles, like they're gonna implode, and this is like the season they got to the Super Bowl and lost to the Chiefs, and then the season after they had that horrible season. People think it's gonna be like that. I do not. Since they already went through that, you would imagine that they would know how to recuperate and save the season so that it doesn't go the way that it did back then. So in this case, I'm going with the Eagles. I still trust them, and I think they're gonna figure it out as the games keep going. For the Jets versus Broncos, it's very unfortunate how the Jets are losing. I believe they don't have any takeaways on defense. They have a lot of mistakes like fumbles, even though Justin Fields doesn't turn it over like with interception, he's taking care of it. But I think he's fumbled quite a few times, so they need to fix that. Also, the players on the Jets are also fumbling a lot, so and a lot of penalties. And I hope that they get better because I was kind of pulling for the Jets because I thought Aaron Glenn was going to be a good coach, and I thought he was going to be able to bring them around. Maybe not playoffs, but I was thinking 8 wins maybe. That's not looking likely. It's looking like they're going to be a top pick again, which is unfortunate because I was also pulling for Justin Fields to kind of revive his career. He hasn't been able to, and they might go ahead and pick. If they get number one, two, or three in the draft, they might go ahead and pick a quarterback because they said that this draft was going to be a quarterback heavy draft. So that's unfortunate for the Jets. For the Broncos, they have an amazing defense. Bo Nix is still kind of figuring it out. He's had some great moments, of course, like the fourth quarter of last game, but um, in general, he hasn't looked that good. Like if all the season together. So, in my opinion, Bo Nix just needs to get it going, and the Broncos could be like really, really scary. So, I'm gonna go with the Broncos on this one. Unfortunate for the Jets to be 0-6, but I don't think the Broncos will lose. I apologize. For the Jaguars versus Seahawks, this is a really good game, and Sam Darnold is playing very well. The Jaguars are just came off a giant win. Uh, yeah, I don't know. And you guys might call me crazy, but I think I trust Sam Darnold a little bit more than Trevor Lawrence. So but the defense for the Jaguars is really good. They have some really good players. ETN, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter looked a little bit better this past game against the Chiefs. Even Trevor Lawrence looked a bit better, even though he turned it over twice. Mm, and then the Seahawks are just playing well. And Sam Darnold, Cup, uh, they're they have a really good defense as well. This is going to be a really good game. I would say this is one of those 50-50 games. But if I had to choose, I guess I'll choose the Seahawks. I'll choose the Seahawks. I mean, the Jaguars could win, but I'm going with the Seahawks. Dolphins versus Chargers. I feel like the Chargers are going to win, even though this is. Oh, maybe this will be a close game because the offensive line for Justin Herbert hasn't been doing that good. And when he gets pressured, he isn't as good as he was in the beginning of the season when everybody thought he was going to be the MVP. He might still be in the running, but he needs to get going. If he's going to be the MVP, he needs to have a big game this week. So, and Tua, I believe they lost Tyreek Hill. I forget the name of the tight end, but he was having a really good game last game. Geez, I don't know. I'm gonna go with the Chargers because of Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. I trust them more than Tua and the other guy, McDaniel. I'm sorry. Ravens versus the Rams. I feel like the Rams should win this one. The Ravens just look like they aren't a good team anymore. They have so many injuries on defense. Lamar's not playing. Cooper Rush. People thought that he was going to look good like back in the day when he was back in the day or 2 seasons ago. I don't remember when he stepped in for Dak and he won like 5 games or 3 games. I don't remember. But he did not look good. Um, he looked horrible, in fact. The Rams have had a couple of tough losses the past couple weeks, but I still think they're better than the Ravens, especially if the Ravens don't have Lamar. So, yeah, for that one, I'm going with the Rams. Also, if the Rams lose, then I'm going to say they're not a contender anymore because they should beat the Ravens without Lamar, in my opinion. Colts, Cardinals. I feel like Danny Dimes is going to get it done again. The Cardinals, I told you guys, I didn't think they were a good team. Kyler Murray, I don't think he's that good. He has some like really, really explosive athletic plays, but he also turns it over just as much. And you know they have that whole thing that he didn't study and that he's not a good leader and that type of stuff. Maybe that's not true, but I still don't think he's good enough to be the quarterback for that team. They just, in my opinion, they just need to start over with the franchise. In my opinion, for the Cardinals, pick a quarterback for sure. If you're like a top three pick, pick a quarterback. For the Colts, I feel like they're rolling. They did have that loss against the Rams, which I think that they could have won. Danny Dimes had 2 picks in that game, I believe, but then he won last week again. Uh, I just feel like the Colts are good. Some people don't want to give them their credit yet, but I do think that the Colts are going to win. They're going to keep winning. They're going to be in the playoffs, and most likely they're going to win that division, I think. And it would be a cool comeback story for Danny Dimes. For Panthers versus Cowboys, the Panthers have won a couple games, I believe. I believe they beat Atlanta, and I don't know who they beat. I don't remember who they beat last week. The Raiders, maybe. They have 2 good wins. Bryce Young hasn't looked that great. I thought it was going to be like a comeback season for Bryce, where he becomes the franchise quarterback for the Panthers. It's looked kind of iffy this season, even though they've won some games. And the Cowboys are doing really, really good on offense. And hopefully, when CD comes back, if CD comes back this game, I expect them to win. Also, hopefully, they can trade for somebody, maybe Hendrickson, you know, from the Bengals, because the Bengals are just going to keep losing and losing. They hired Joe Flacco. I don't think that's going to help. I'm going with the Cowboys on this one. Dak is playing MVP level. Unless the defense gives up 50, I don't see the Cowboys losing. I think the Cowboys will win. Saints versus the Patriots. The Saints looked really good last week. They won. The Patriots had a gigantic win. against the Buffalo Bills. Drake May looked amazing. Diggs looked amazing as well. Rattler, I was happy that he won his game because he had played good throughout the season, but they just didn't win or didn't have the pieces to win. So I'm glad he won a game. Um, I don't know if the Patriots are for real. I know you guys are saying they just beat the Bills. How are they not for real? Well, I'll tell you guys. Division games are usually like that. Like they play really close, and even though one team is a horrible team and the other team is a great team on paper, sometimes the games are just really close because they know each other and it's a divisional game and that's how they go. So I really don't know who's gonna win this game. Safe choice. I'll go with the Patriots. Yeah, I'll go with the Patriots. Screw it. Browns versus Steelers. The Browns defense is excellent. Dylan Gabriel looked okay on his debut against the Vikings. Rodgers has had some ups and downs. Um, I don't know if he's going to be that good for them. Hopefully, he can maintain a good enough level so that they can make the playoffs and maybe win a playoff game because Steelers fans want that. They've wanted that for so long. They just keep getting into the playoffs and losing in round one. That's very unfortunate for them. Oh, and this week, Dylan Gabriel is starting again. Shador is right behind him. Maybe he'll start in the future. I don't know. I don't know if the Browns defense is good enough to beat the Steelers. I don't know. I'll go with the Steelers on this one just because Aaron Rodgers, I think, is better than Gabriel. Uh, Raiders versus Titans. The Raiders have looked horrible. The Titans have also looked horrible. Uh, Cam Ward has had some sparks, but that team is very incomplete. They need a lot more pieces. The Raiders, I thought they were going to be good. They are not. Um, I thought Gino was going to be like a really, really big upgrade from Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. He was not, or at least he hasn't been. Um, I don't know, really. I'll go with the Raiders on this one, but it's a 50-50. They're both very bad teams. Buccaneers versus 49ers. The 49ers are playing very well on defense. Saleh coming back as defensive coordinator really gave them like a great power boost, I guess. I don't know what to call it. Um, yeah, because I thought they were going to lose a lot of games with Mac Jones, and they haven't. They even beat the Rams. So, and Baker's playing like an MVP. He has a bunch of weapons on offense, even though they have a lot of injuries. This is going to be probably the game of the weekend. Let me see one second. Yeah, I think that. Oh no, well we have Chiefs versus Lions as well, but gee, I don't know who to pick in Buccaneers versus Niners. Hmm, I don't know. McCorkle Jones or Baker Mayfield? I'm gonna go with Baker Mayfield. I'll go with the Buccaneers on that one. Even though the 49ers already upset the Rams, so anything can happen, but I'm going with the Buccaneers on that game. For Packers versus Bengals, I believe the Packers should win this one. The Bengals have a horrible offensive line. Joe Flacco is 41, and if he's getting pressured by the Packer defense, I think they'll just destroy them. In my opinion, the Packers should win this easy, but this is the NFL, and we never know. You know, when people switch teams, they get like a little bit of a boost, and suddenly they win. So who knows what Flacco can do with Chase and Higgins and Yossi Weiss and um, Chase Brown, the running back, I think. But I'll go with the Packers, even though um, Jordan Love isn't playing like great. but they're still better than the Bengals, so I'll pick the Packers. Chiefs versus Lions. I'm going with the Lions. Usually, the Chiefs do not lose close games like the one they just lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it was very surprising to me because I was like, when I was watching that game, I was like, oh, here we go. Mahomes is going to get it with however many seconds. He's going to score like a touchdown with Kelsey, and they're going to win by 3 points like they always do. And they didn't. They didn't get it done. So, and the Lions are on defense are amazing. And the Chiefs have kind of not looked like themselves. I don't know what it is, but yeah, they haven't looked good. Mahomes has looked good. He's playing at a very, very high level, even though he had one pick last game. He's the only one that I think does not have like a Super Bowl hangover. But everyone else, I don't know if they're getting old or they just don't have the same motivation or their Kansas City is just ready for to get in some new blood or something. But yeah, I just think that the Lions will win this one. I think they're a better team. For the Falcons versus Bills, I think the Bills should win, even though the Falcons are coming off a bye. They have great offensive weapons. Penix has looked good in some parts of the season. The Bills will want to come back after having a devastating loss against the New England Patriots. They'll want to prove that they're the contenders that everybody thinks that they are. So I'm going to go with the Bills on that one, to be honest. And I expect like a great performance by Josh Allen, MVP level performance by him. For Commanders versus Bears, this is amazing. They have that little debate online: who's better, Caleb or Jaden Daniels. I'm sorry, because I think they were the number 1 and 2 picks. I don't remember. Either way, the Bears have looked good with Ben Johnson. They're coming off a bye, I think. The Commanders have won some games, even when Mariota was the quarterback, and Jaden Daniels. I think he came back last week, I believe. Mm, I really don't know. Mm, I'll go with the Bears just because I think they're slightly better this season than the Commanders. I'll go with the Bears on that one, and that'll do it for my picks for this week. You guys can leave your picks in the comments, and also what do you think about my picks? You can say whatever you want on the comments. Also, like and subscribe. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.